the last 24 hours. Powered by Yiddish24, provided to you by The Click. Monday, Parshas Tzav, Hai Nissen, Tufshim Pai Vov. My name is Gershy Schwarcz and I'm your host on Edge. It's March 23, 2026, and welcome all on Edge. This morning, my brothers and sisters from England, northwest London, England, Hatzalah of Golden Screen, woke up to their ambulances burned to the ground outside a shul. An Iranian terror group, Yamach Shemam, claimed responsibility because nothing says resistance quite like torching an ambulance that saves lives. Any lives, an ambulance, a few ambulances. They'll come to you at 2 a.m. No matter who you are, Jew haters cannot stand the fact that Yidden live together, look out for each other, and build strong communities. They hate it because they are miserable. They do not have that kind of loyalty in their own neighborhoods. So you see it clearly in the recent videos by Tyler Oliveira, the ones he made targeting the Jewish communities in Lakewood, Kirisiel, Muncie. Right there on his camera, one of the Jew haters basically admitted the truth. He said the only reason that the Jews are so strong is because they have each other. They have this strength. They have this fire between them. Yes, and these guys, the Jew haters, are miserable. And they know that if they ever needed real help, they do not have the kind of community backing that we do. Hate us because they ain't us. Yes, unfortunately. And Golden Screen Hatzalah is there for them anyway. Doesn't make a difference if they know you're a Jew hater or not. They will save your life. The US and Iran are either in serious peace talks, yes, I know, absolutely not, or absolutely yes, doesn't make a difference, all depending on who you ask. Trump seems very positive, though. And Trump is sending ICE agents to replace TSA at airports. Security experts say it will not help, but it will definitely make the lines more exciting, I might say. It is Monday, so let's jump in. But before we do so, let me remind you about your Shtreimul. Have you renewed your Shtreimul of Kubad Yom Tov? Yom Tov is almost a week and something. A week and a few days. Call 732-523-1559. Free pickup delivery from the tri-state area. They can still pick up your Shtreimul, renew it. Sei pressenes, gläsernes, farbenes, machen eben the Kapelchen of an eye. You understood? If not, then you don't have a Shtreimul. I'm kidding. I'm joking. I'm not allowed to say that. But the point is, you want a nice Shtreimul for Yom Tov, call him on 732-523-1559. And yeah, 4 Hatzalah ambulances were set on fire outside a shul in Golders Green by 3 hooligans, 3 Iranian terrorists. On Monday morning, Hatzalah is, as everyone knows, Hatzalah and Golders Green, the Jewish volunteer ambulance services that help and save lives every single day, night, minute, second. The vehicles were parked in their own lots when 3 hooded hooligans poured gasoline on them and lit them on fire, destroying the ambulances one by one that are meant to save lives. Like I said, I can't stress this enough. We have now major updates on who is responsible. An Iranian-backed Islamic terror group called Ashab al-Yamin, Yamach Shemam, claimed responsibility for the arson and published a video about the incident. The video also showed the group doing some, espionage on the ambulances before the attack. And footage appears to show them staying nearby to watch the fire. The video states their real intended target was the Machzika Hadas shul next door. The ambulances were hit because of the shul's ties to Israel, they say. The organization has previously claimed responsibility for other incidents in Europe involving harm to the Jewish community, including the recent attacks in Belgium, Amsterdam and Rotterdam. When London's mayor, Sadiq Khan, says Muslims in London are in danger and at the same time Muslim terrorists are the ones carrying out these arson and attacks, you have to stop and ask, who exactly is in danger? Steist? Sadiq Khan, tell me. London police are treating the fire as an anti-Semitic hate crime, obviously. When firefighters arrived, they found 4 ambulances fully engulfed in flames. Deputy Assistant Commissioner said crews were met with huge fire burning all 4 ambulances. Several gas cylinders stored within the vehicles exploded because of the heat, causing damage to the windows of a nearby residential block. Around 30 residents were evacuated to a local shelter because of that. When an Al Jazeera camera crew arrived at the scene to film the aftermath, members of the local Jewish community in Golders Green confronted them and pushed back on their presence. Guys, if you're listening to the news, you can always donate to the Hatzalah of London to restore their ambulances and structural damage if you want. The campaign email is info@hatzallahnw.org. Go into hatzallahnw.org and find out how you can help. That brings us to the Middle East, where the military conflict between the United States, Israel, and Iran is shifting fast. There is a major breaking update this morning. But first, Montreal Matze Bäckerei. He called me this morning telling me, you have no idea my matzahs, I'm running out of stock. So I'm kidding. He's running out of stock because if you come after Pesach, you won't find any matzahs. My point is that he's making matzahs, he's baking matzahs, plenty. A whole team, and their focus is on quality matzahs. There's nothing like his quality matzahs. I asked him, now because of my ads, would you add 3 more bakeries now last minute? He says never. He says, Gershy, you have to understand, my matzah bakery is about quality. It takes time to train the people baking those matzahs, rolling the dough. Whatever they do for the matzahs, it takes immense amount of patience and training to know the Montreal matzah quality. Therefore, go grab your Montreal matzah today. Go to your local grocery store, go to montrealmatzah.com, find out, put your zip code in. You will find the nearest place that sell it. You can stop by in the Brooklyn shop if you want. It's on, where is it? 4320 14th Avenue, Brooklyn, New York. All right. 718-619-3661. That's montrealmatzah.com. President Donald J. Trump has officially extended his deadline for Iran to reopen the Strait of Hormuz by 5 days. 5 days. It was supposed to be a 48-hour deadline. For those of you who know, it expired this morning, but he said he's giving them 5 days. Trump says the extension is because of, quote, very good and productive conversations with Iran. This is what he said today in the morning in a post that he posted on Truth Social. The financial markets reacted immediately. Stock markets went up sharply this morning, and the price of oil dropped 6%. Trump says talks happened. Iran says no talks happened at all. Not directly, not through anyone. Well, Iranian state TV, Abbas Arakchi, put it very clearly in his words. U.S. president backs down following Iran's firm warning. In other words, they back down again. The Satan has backed down, they say. When Trump was asked about Iran's denial on television this morning, he said, well, I don't know what the Iranian media is talking about. He added that the Iranian leadership is scattered and their communication may not be aligned internally. Reports say multiple countries have been quietly passing messages between Washington and Tehran behind the scenes, but neither side is willing to formally admit it. Someone is not telling the truth, and in 5 days we will find out what that means. But Trump kept talking. And what he said this morning is extraordinary. Speaking to reporters, Trump said the pause on power plant strikes, the energy strikes, is only that, a pause on power plants and energy facilities. Israeli and American strikes on other Iranian targets are still ongoing as of this morning. Well, on the talks themselves, Trump said they want very much to make a deal. We'd like to make a deal too. If it goes well, we are going to end up settling this war. Otherwise, we'll just keep bombing our little hearts out, in his words. Trump says Iran called him, not the other way around. They called me. I didn't call them, he said. He outlined that America wants what America wants from Iran. No nuclear bomb, no nuclear weapon, not even close to one. Missiles kept quiet. Peace in the Middle East, and Iran must hand over its nuclear material, the enriched uranium, to the United States. Trump also said about the Strait of Hormuz could soon be jointly controlled by him and whoever is the next Iranian leader. Me and the Ayatollah, he says in his words. Whoever the Ayatollah is. Whoever the next Ayatollah is, he repeated. I'm just saying his words, basically. He also said what is happening in Iran can be described as a regime change, that a new kind of leadership could emerge, and that it could look similar to what happened in Venezuela, he says. Khan News responded to the announcement saying, it's too early to know if Trump is going to end the war. His statement was surprising. Iran's response to all of this: there are no talks, there is no deal, and this is a psychological warfare. The rhetoric from Iran's military is also escalating. Well, Iranian Major General Abdullah issued a new threat this morning saying, quote, the use of new secret weapon will begin soon and it will bring an end to the enemy's operations. This all comes after the United States and Israel carried out massive airstrikes across Iran, knocking out power in Tehran, hitting a military drone factory in the city of Qom. We also now hearing that Saeed Shamkhani, a rocket engineer for Iran's Revolutionary Guard, was killed in a targeted strike directly in his home in Tehran. The Strait of Hormuz, the narrow waterway where a huge portion of the world's oil passes through, which Iran has been blocking and demanding $2 million a toll to be paid by ships who want to pass there safely. Despite Trump's extension today, the economic damage from the closure is already severe. In Australia, hundreds of gas stations have run out of gas, and grocery prices are expected to rise. The Federal Reserve Bank of Dallas in Texas has warned of serious global economic damage if the strait stays closed. United Nations official also warned that Iranian strikes on Gulf water and energy facilities could still come within days. Iran has also warned countries to stop buying U.S. Treasury bonds. The bombs, not bonds, are still falling. Israel launched a heavy new wave of strikes on Tehran this morning. The pause President Trump announced is only for power plants and energy facilities. Everything else is still a target, according to them. Iran is responding with attacks across the Middle East. Saudi Arabia and Kuwait, United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, all reported fresh Iranian missiles and drones attacks today. Iranian drones hit a massive oil refinery in Kuwait, starting a major fire. Iran kept on threatening to put explosives in the water across the entire Persian Gulf. That would block all ships from passing, not just oil tankers. The Islamic regime said that that if they are attacked, they will try to destroy the energy and water supply for the rest of the Gulf region. CENTCOM is continuing to strike Iranian military targets inside Iran today, despite what Trump said. Defense officials told the New York Times that senior military leaders are now considering sending around 3,000 U.S. Army paratroopers from the 82nd Airborne Division, troops that are trained to deploy anywhere in the world on a very short notice to support American military operations in the Middle East. Gold is also having a terrible few weeks. Last week, gold posted its worst weekly loss since 1983, dropping about 7% in a single week. Something that has not happened in over 40 years. The reason is unusual. Normally, when the world is scared, people buy gold to protect their money, right? Like during the war, a lot of people bought gold to push through the war to be able to survive. So basically what happens is, but the Iranian war is pushing oil prices so high that inflation fears are rising, and investors now think interest rates will go up rather than go down. Higher interest rates could hurt gold, so instead of rising during a crisis, gold is falling. This morning gold dropped as much as 8% before partially recovering after Trump announced the 5-day pause. I guess he realized the economic impact it has. There is also new detail about the weapons Iran is using. The IRGC, Iran's elite revolutionary guard, is now placing stickers on the ballistic missiles they are pointing at Israel. Let's not forget, they managed to send missiles that are close range, that can reach England. They can reach England or even Europe. They sent two ballistic missiles like these to the Diego Garcia, which got intercepted by, obviously, American defense systems. The stickers featured quotes from Spain's Prime Minister Pedro Sánchez, I think a far-left leader who has strongly criticized the war against the Islamic regime in Iran, calling it illegal and inhumane. Now the Islamic terrorists are using his exact words as propaganda on the side of their missiles. And those missiles are causing devastation on the ground as well. On Shabbos, Iranian missiles hit the city of Arad in the south of Israel. One missile came down directly on a residential neighborhood where dozens of Yidden live there. In Ger Hasidim, a large community of Ger Hasidim, Ger families live there as well. One apartment building was completely destroyed. Around 20 other buildings nearby were badly damaged. About 180 people were hurt in the attacks. The neighborhood is also home to many older Israelis and Russian immigrants. Rescue workers rushed to the scene and declared a mass casualty event. Reports say between 75 and 115 people were hurt, including 10 in serious condition and a 5-year-old girl who was critically injured. 4 people were unconscious when rescue teams arrived. Helicopters flew the most seriously wounded to hospitals, and our tefillos are with all of the injured and their families. The American THAAD missile defense system failed to stop the missiles. Investigators are looking into whether that was a human error or something else. The same night, another Iranian missile hit the nearby city of Dimona, close to Israel's nuclear research center. Nearly 200 people were injured between both cities combined. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu visited the site of Arad strike and said, "If you want proof that Iran endangers the entire world, the last 48 hours have given it. Their intention is to murder civilians. Luckily, nobody was killed, but that's due to luck, not their intention." He called on world leaders to join Israel and the United States in the fight against Iran. The Ger Rebbe's son went to visit some of those injured kids in the Arad attack. Let's not forget that Arad is home to the largest Ger community in Israel. This was indeed a very devastating shock to the community. A cluster bomb also landed near Petah Tikva in central Israel, but no one was hurt. A missile fragment crashed into an empty school building in Peduel. The global military response is growing. The United States is sending roughly 4,500 Marines and sailors to the region, including F-35 jets. The Pentagon is asking for an additional $200 billion in military funding. Israeli and American officials have raised the possibility of a weeks-long ground operation to take over Iran's main oil export island. President Trump is also reportedly considering a wartime visit to Israel next month. In Britain, Prime Minister Keir Starmer, his government waited 30 hours before publicly confirming that Iranian missiles struck Diego Garcia, an American and British military base in the Indian Ocean. The British public found out about it from the American press. Starmer is holding an emergency meeting today to deal with the economic fallout. 2 British citizens are currently being held inside Tehran's Evin prison and say their lives are at risk. NATO confirmed that 22 countries are working together on a British-led plan to protect ships passing through the strait. Russia said it opposes any blockade, and China obviously warned of worsening consequences if the war spreads out. Inside Iran, things are getting worse for the regime. Monday morning, 6 more people were killed, 6 more regime members, and 6 were hurt in 2 separate attacks in the city of Tabriz. There were also reports of similar attacks in Tehran. Assassinations. Iran's own ambassador describes the government this way: the walls of this brutal regime are starting to crack. There were also reports that soldiers in the IRGC and the Basij, Iran's parliamentary force, are not showing up for their assigned duties. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is reportedly frustrated with the Mossad. The intelligence agency had promised it could spark a popular uprising inside Iran to end the conflict quickly. That has not happened. In Lebanon, Israel has been destroying bridges over the Litani River. Last week we reported about a reporter who claimed that Israelis targeted him. He was standing right there. Hezbollah has been using those bridges to move troops and weapons south toward Israel. 2 major bridges were destroyed overnight. Israeli Finance Minister Bezalel Smotrich, who, by the way, said that he is going on with the attacks on Iran despite what Trump is saying, said that the Litani River should become the new border between Israel and Lebanon. Several Israeli soldiers were lightly wounded in the border fighting. They also caught a few Hezbollah terrorists, caught them alive actually. Ben Gurion Airport is sharply cutting back after Iranian missiles debris managed to damage private jets parked in the airport. The airport is now limiting departing flights to 1 hour per flight, with only 50 passengers allowed per flight. El Al is pushing to reopen the Ramon Airport in the south to handle the overflow. It's a secondary, smaller airport. A new study says Israel is one of the most targeted countries in the world for cyber attacks on critical infrastructure, things like water systems and power grids. Since the military campaign against Iran began, those attacks have surged. Let's talk about hacks. If you're worried about any hacks, you have to have a good system. And to build a good system, you need Protobyte. 347-354-1237. Again, proto-byte.com. You know you need a good software, a good website tied into software. Called Protobyte today. Let them design you your software, your website. A good complicated software. If you need a program to run your business, whatever program, if you're Gaben Shul, you need a good program to systemize the alias and the selling and all that. And if you have any pledges, whatever it is, a system is always good to have. It's a good design software system. He's a good engineer. Call Protobyte, they'll take care of you. Breaking news from New York: 2 pilots are dead after a plane crashed into a fire truck on the runway at LaGuardia Airport late Sunday night. Last night. The flight was an Air Canada Express regional jet carrying 72 passengers, including a group of frum Yidden from the New York area. After the plane landed, it hit a fire truck that was crossing the runway. The front of the plane was completely crushed. 41 people were injured. Both the pilot and the co-pilot did not survive. Authorities say the fire truck was crossing the runway to help a different airplane that reported an emergency. A recording of the air traffic control radio was released to the public today. On the recording, a controller gives the truck permission to cross, and then urgently yells for the truck to stop, just moments before the crash. Later on the recording, a controller can be heard admitting, "I messed up." 32 of the injured people have already been allowed to leave the hospital. 9 remained hospitalized with serious injuries. 2 firefighters inside the truck were also hurt. Passengers on the plane described a terrifying few seconds when the crash happened, and then helping each others slide down the wing of the plane to escape. What a horrific and terrifying moment. The FAA stopped all flights in and out of LaGuardia immediately after the crash. As of Monday afternoon, the airport is still closed, causing hundreds of cancelled flights. Investigators are on the airport right now, working out to find out exactly how this terrible mistake had happened. In Moscow, a group of Jews were attacked outside the main Choral Synagogue last Friday night as they were leaving after davening. Russian men surrounded them, beat them up, and shouted fascist slogans. One even pulled out a knife. Moscow police are investigating the scene. Some victims call it a clear hate crime, but the synagogue's own Rabbi Nuchem Zicherman, says he's not sure about if it was a hate crime. A mailman in New York, in Monsey, will face more charges after a video showed him pushing a 4-year-old Yingala to the ground. The mailman is known as Gabriel Stan, a 39-year-old postal worker who was on duty at the time. The incident happened on Thursday evening, right before Shabbos, and was caught on a security camera. The silent video, shows the young boy walking up to the mailman outside his the mail truck. The mailman suddenly jumps forward and pushes the child so hard that the boy rolls backwards onto the ground. The little boy then stands up and picks up his yarmulke and walks away. Police charged Gabriel Stan, with attempted assault and endangering a child, but after his arrest, a judge let him go free without having to pay any bail. Local leaders, including Assemblyman Aaron Weeder, strongly criticized the attack, calling it completely unacceptable. There was a big uproar in England. Right now, there is actually a big uproar in England about a gallery in the town of Margate. It's showing paintings of Israelis with classic anti-Semitism images, including Jews eating babies. This is the same hateful propaganda the Nazis used right before the war. For those you remember, Jewish leaders are calling it old-fashioned Jew-hatred wrapped up as art. Police have been notified, but the gallery still remains open. Let's talk about Kliger. You have to be a little bit Kliger when it comes to your messaging system. You know, you live like in the olden days, really. You think that you have the best technology, all the latest updates and latest messaging systems and emails and software and WhatsApp and all that whatnot. But you're confused because you don't even know where your messages are coming in from and going out to. You need one inbox, Kliger.com, Kleegr.com, and also they have so many other features tied into it. Salesforce, CRM, systems, even a website. Mind you, 845-335-3343, that's Kleegr.com, 845-335-3343. Call them today, sign up today for a free demo, Kleegr.com. You will find out what they can do for your business. It will surprise you. Ukrainian's President Vladimir Zelensky says the war in the Middle East is making it harder for Ukraine to fight Russia. But there is big news today. Peace talks are happening right now in Miami, Florida. Ukrainian officials are sitting down with American representatives, including Jared Kushner, President Trump's Jewish son-in-law, and special envoy, the Jewish businessman Steve Witkoff. Russia refused to show up, Zelensky says. His team is working with Americans to find a way to end the war and make sure Ukraine stays safe. He says these talks are urgent. The war in the Middle East is pulling the world's attention and money away from Ukraine to Iran, and Russia is obviously reportedly getting rich because of that. And they are also getting ready to attack again. Long lines at airports in America have gone out of control. What can I say? Partial government shutdown means TSA workers are going unpaid, and many are calling out sick. President Trump is sending ICE officers to help fill the gaps. If you're flying soon, well, there'll either be ICE demonstrations, or you better check before you go to the airport anyway. Robert Mueller, the former FBI director who led the federal investigation against Trump, has died at the age of 81 years old. Mueller spent nearly 2 years leading an investigation into whether Trump campaign has ties to Russia hoax, which ended without criminal conspiracy charges against Trump. After his death was announced, President Trump posted that he was glad Mueller was dead, writing that Mueller has done evil and terrible things. Most public figures strongly criticized Trump's words. He's dead now. Doesn't make a difference to Trump. If he was a bad man, he was a bad man, even if he's dead. The spokesperson for the IRGC has a message for Trump. Listen to this.
Hey Trump, you are fired. You are familiar with this sentence. Thank you for your attention to this matter. The central headquarters.
The central headquarters of YS Capital Group. See? You don't have to try and copy people. You just have to do it on your own and be original. By being original, when you have an investment, don't try and borrow bank from go yourself to the bank and try and mimic those people that are experts at borrowing money from the bank for you. They are direct lenders anyway, so you don't have to really go to the bank. Because they are direct lenders. They give you no closing costs on the deals that they have. So call them, 718-831-2168, YS Capital Group. Why? Why someone else when you have YS Capital Group? And if you need a taxi, 845-622-1111 or 845-254-1111. You can guess. It's Arrive Express, Arrive Muncie. Download the app, arrivemuncie.com. When you fly into America, to Muncie area, to this area here, if you want to ever come by, you're coming for a visit for Yom Tov, you know you can rely on Arrive Express. Basically, that's how Trump feels today, I think. Anyway, the point is, today marks the Yurtzeit of the Heilige Oyev Yisroel Me'apte. Rabbi Yeshia Herschel ben Haravagu and Reb Shmuel Me'apt. He was the Oyev Yisroel. He was one of the greatest Hasidic masters, a Talmud of the Heilige Reb Meilich Milezhensk, whose Yurtzeit was recently. His love for every single Yid was legendary, and that's why this kind of love earned him exactly this title, the Oyev Yisroel. He passed away in Hai Nissen, Tuf Kif Pai Hai, buried in Mezbish, Ukraine, right next to the Baal Shem Tov himself. And the Oyev Yisroel is a known, beloved cipher, resting almost in every single Jewish home in the world. May his memory be a blessing to all of us and be a Ma'aletz Yosha for every one of us. And of course, coming Pesach now, have the same hope you keep on having. Don't worry about it. Hashem will help. Mashiach is coming. Mashiach is on his way. Mashiach.
Your daily report of the news of the last 24 hours, powered by Yiddish24, provided to you by The Click.